The smell of cinnamon and hot chocolate filled my New York apartment, mingling with the biting cold of winter as I decorated the Christmas tree, trying to keep the festive spirit alive even while living alone for the first time. The city outside was covered in snow, and Christmas lights sparkled in the windows of neighboring buildings. Soft music played in the background, Michael singing, "It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas," as I organized the ornaments I had bought that afternoon. It was December 15th, 1995, an especially cold Friday. After 3 years working as a financial analyst at Banco Nacional, I had finally achieved my long-desired promotion to department manager. To celebrate, I decided to create my first elaborate Christmas decoration, transforming my small fourth-floor apartment into a true Christmas postcard. But as I hung the ornaments, a strange feeling began to bother me. The clock read 7:43 p.m. when my phone vibrated for the first time, breaking the tranquility of the moment. A message from an unknown number. "You look beautiful, decorating your Christmas tree. The red of your sweater perfectly matches the Christmas spirit. But you should have bought the blinking lights from the mall, not the static ones from the market." My blood ran cold instantly. I was indeed wearing a red sweater I had bought that morning. And yes, I had opted for the cheaper lights from the market instead of the ones I saw at the mall. But how? Are you enjoying this horror story? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for more content like this. I rushed to the window, my hands trembling as I pulled back the curtain. The street below was bustling, as always this time of year. Families carrying bags of gifts, couples admiring store decorations, street vendors offering Christmas treats. Among them, near the bus stop, stood a man dressed as Santa Claus. He looked different from the others I had seen around the city. Taller, thinner. The costume, impeccably clean and new. As I watched, he slowly turned his head in my direction and waved. A slow, deliberate wave that sent chills down my spine. I let the curtain fall and stepped back, stumbling over some decoration boxes. "It's just a coincidence," I murmured to myself, trying to control my breathing. It's December. There are Santas everywhere. I returned to decorating the tree, but my hands trembled so much that I knocked over 2 glass baubles, which shattered on the floor. The sound of the shards seemed to echo through the apartment, blending with the distant jingling of bells coming from the street. Every minute, I nervously checked the window. The Santa Claus remained there for almost 2 hours, motionless except for small head movements, as if he were watching something or someone. When I finally managed to sleep, it was already past 3 in the morning. I woke up startled at 6:47 with another message. "You look even more beautiful while sleeping. Did you know you say the name Marcus while dreaming? Who is Marcus? Maybe we should ask him." Marcus was my brother, who had died 5 years ago in a car accident. I had never told anyone at work about him. Moment of reflection. To what extent are our private spaces really private in the digital age? What would you do upon realizing your intimacy has been violated this way? With trembling hands, I called my best friend, Anna. "Laura, you're calling really early." Her sleepy voice came through the line. "Anna, I think someone is stalking me." "What do you mean? That guy from HR, bothering you again?" "No, it's different." It's before I could continue, I heard a knock at the door. My heart stopped. Something slid under the door, a red envelope with golden details. "Anna, someone is at my door. Don't open it. I'm coming over right now." I hung up the phone and stared at the envelope on the floor. After several minutes gathering courage, I picked it up with my fingertips. Inside was a photo of me sleeping, clearly taken through the window of my room, and a small card with letters cut out from magazines. "Every Santa needs a special helper this year. You have been chosen. Soon you will receive your special red uniform. Terror on Christmas Eve. Santa Claus stalker." I arrived at the neighborhood police station at 8:15 a.m., still trembling. Anna accompanied me, holding my hand as I recounted the events to Investigator Castro. A middle-aged man with deep dark circles, who barely lifted his eyes from the form he was filling out on his typewriter. "Ms. Lima," he sighed, adjusting his thick-rimmed glasses. "In December we have dozens of occurrences involving people dressed as Santa Claus, without concrete evidence of invasion." "But what about the photos? And the messages?" Anna interrupted, indignant. "The messages were left on paper, so we have no way to trace them. And the photos." He examined the images disinterestedly. "Could have been taken from any neighboring building. Are you sure you closed the curtains properly?" I left the police station feeling even more vulnerable. On the way to work, every bearded man startled me. Downtown New York was already fully decorated for Christmas with garlands, lights, and dozens of Santas in store windows and doorways. Each one could be my stalker. At the bank, I tried to maintain normalcy. I booted up my 386 computer, organized the spreadsheets for the day, and tried to focus on the numbers flashing on the dark green monitor. But every movement in the hallway made me jump. "Laura," Mariana's voice, my department colleague, startled me. "The team is having the Christmas party at Restaurant Bardo tonight. You're coming, right? We need to celebrate your promotion." Before I could respond, my landline rang. I answered with trembling hands. "Oh ho ho," a distorted voice came from the other end. "Have you decided what color lipstick you'll wear to the party tonight? The red you bought yesterday at the pharmacy would look perfect." I hung up the phone abruptly, knocking over several papers from my desk. "Laura, are you okay?" Mariana approached, concerned. I looked at her, paranoia growing in my mind. How did the stalker know about the party? How did he know about the lipstick? Who in the office could be involved? The rest of the day was a blur of anxiety and fear. Every time the fax beeped, every time someone walked by my desk, I flinched. At lunchtime, I preferred to stay in my office, the blinds closed. At 5:30 p.m., when most employees had already left, I found a small package on my desk. Red wrapping, golden ribbon. Inside was a Santa hat and a note. "Wear this tonight at the party. If you don't show up, your brother Marcus will have company soon." Moment of reflection. How does one cope with the terror that infiltrates every aspect of life, work, home, relationships? That night, sitting alone in my apartment, with all the lights on, I heard the intercom buzz. It was Anna. "I came to get you for the party," she said through the intercom. "I'm not letting you isolate yourself. We'll face this together." "I can't go," I replied, nervously looking out the window. "It's too dangerous." "Laura, open the door." Now Anna's voice sounded different, more firm. I descended to the ground floor, my hands sweating. When I opened the door, it wasn't Anna. At the door stood Mariana, wearing a black dress and holding a Motorola Microtac cell phone. One of the few models available in 1995, a luxury item that few at the bank owned. "Surprise." She smiled, but there was something strange in her expression. "I came to get you. I thought it would be safer for us to go together, since you've been so scared." Before I could respond, I noticed movement in the shadows behind her. A figure in red moved quickly between the parked cars. "I saw you leaving earlier today," Mariana continued, her voice taking on a different tone. "It must have been hard to lose that first chance at promotion 3 months ago, right? When Marcus was still alive." My blood ran cold. I had never mentioned Marcus at work, much less his connection to my career. Do you know how many interesting files I found in your drawer when you were on leave?" Mariana laughed, her face transforming. "The death certificate, the letters from him encouraging you to try for the promotion. It's not fair that you got it on the second try, after I spent 5 years preparing." The terror of realization hit me like a punch. The photos, the messages, the access to personal information. Everything started after I got the promotion that Mariana wanted so badly. "Since when?" My voice barely came out. 3 months of planning. Carlos from security loved to help, especially after I promised to split the money you keep in your apartment safe. Rosa from cleaning installed the micro cameras. Paulo from maintenance took care of the listening devices on your phone. Sounds of footsteps began to echo through the garage. Shadows moved in the dark. "Everyone you stepped over to get to the top," Mariana smiled. "And you know what's even more ironic? Today is December 15th. The same day your brother died 5 years ago." Moment of reflection. How can the corporate environment transform ordinary people into monsters? I ran back into the building. But the doorman, who had always been so friendly, just smiled and blocked the entrance to the stairs. "Just following orders, Ms. Laura." Only the elevator remained. I stepped in and desperately pressed the button for my floor. As the doors began to close, I saw Mariana waving goodbye while talking on her cell phone. She's going up, ready to deliver the special gift. In the small elevator space, the mirror reflected my terror. It was then that I noticed there was a small camera installed in the upper corner. How long had I been filmed? How many people were watching my despair daily? The elevator stopped on the 4th floor. The hallway lights were off, except for the Christmas decorations that now blinked in an almost hypnotic rhythm. In the dark, I heard the familiar jingling of bells. Ho ho ho, a deep voice sounded from the shadows. Time to open your gift, Laura. In the dark hallway, the figure of Santa Claus slowly approached. Even in the dim light, I recognized the tall, thin silhouette I had seen on the street. He held something that gleamed metallically under the blinking Christmas lights. Carlos, I whispered, recognizing the bank security guard under the disguise. Not. The voice that replied made me freeze. Guess again, sis. The fake beard was removed, revealing a face I hadn't seen in 5 years. A face that should be dead. Marcus, surprise. Mariana emerged from the shadows, laughing. Do you know how much it costs to bribe an IML employee to falsify a death certificate? Much less than 5 years of salary difference between a manager and an analyst. My brother, or the man I thought I had lost, stepped closer. You were always the favorite, Laura. The smartest, the most dedicated, while I was the failure who couldn't keep a job. But the accident, it was real. Marcus smiled, showing a scar on his neck that had been hidden by the fake beard. But I survived. And while you were mourning at my funeral, I met some interesting people in the underground. People like Mariana, who also had scores to settle with you. My mind spun. The memories of the last 5 years distorted the mourning, the guilt, the determination to honor his memory by getting the promotion. All your success was built on my death, Marcus advanced. Management felt sorry for poor Laura, who lost her brother so young. A noise of breaking glass at the end of the hallway created a momentary distraction. It was my chance. I ran for the fire escape, but the door was locked. Paulo blocked all the exits. Mariana laughed, shaking a set of keys. There's only one way for this to end. Marcus approached with something in his hand, a syringe. Remember when we were kids and you were terrified of needles? Today, we're going to relive some traumas. In desperation, I ripped one of the heavy decorative Christmas balls from the wall and threw it against the hallway window. The glass exploded, letting in the cold night air and the sound of sirens. Police. Freeze. Flashlights flooded the hallway. Anna was with the police, the real Anna. We tracked her phone after she called earlier, an officer explained as he handcuffed Mariana. And we found an interesting dossier in this lady's apartment, including the real death certificate of Marcus. What? I turned to the man I thought was my brother. Carlos Silva. The officer illuminated his face. Former bank security guard, specialist in scams and impersonation. We have 3 arrest warrants in your name. Final moment of reflection. To what extent can we trust our memories and the people who claim to know us? In the end, I discovered that Mariana had obsessively researched my life, finding old photos of Marcus and hiring Carlos to impersonate him. The conspiracy involved dozens of bank employees, all driven by envy and resentment. Today, 20 years later, I still work at the same bank, now as a regional director. The Christmas decorations no longer scare me, but every December 15th, I leave flowers at my brother's real grave. And if I pay special attention to security guards, cameras, and elevators, well, some scars never fully heal. What do you think motivated so many people to participate in such a cruel plan? How can envy and resentment corrupt even the most sacred festivities? Leave your comment below.